Hey y'all, so today we will be working on a lab that has to do with acid-base solutions. Now I do want to just say that this lab may seem a little easier and that's okay. I like sometimes throwing in, sometimes some easier, more like visual type assignments, more descriptive type assignments, and this is definitely one of them. And the whole point of this lab is to, or this lab assignment, is to get you acquainted with the idea and concept of acids and bases. And we do this visually with this virtual lab simulation that we are going to be using. So overall objective, like I said, we are working with acids and bases. We are going to generate and interpret some representation, so some visual representations, words and pictures for acids and bases. We will provide and use these representations to determine strength and concentration, so we can make some conclusions about strength and concentration based off of these visual depictions. And then we will use some common tools like a pH meter, conductivity, and a pH paper for these different solutions that we're going to be looking at. So this is how the virtual lab looks, or the lab simulation looks. Once you open it up, there's 2 pages, and I'm going to show you a little walkthrough of it itself, but overall, this is the general idea. On this left-hand side, or central left-hand side, we have our solution, and then we have like a little magnifying glass, and then we have our equation for our general equation for whatever solution we're looking at. And then on your right-hand side is where you have kind of the switches, the control board kind of in terms of what you're looking at. And this is a PhET simulation, it's acid-base PhET simulation. So now let's actually load this page and see how it looks. So when you open it up, there's 2 pages. There was that intro and my solution. This is the intro. The intro is to get you acquainted with everything. So here you can see me going through the tools. So I first had the pH meter, then the pH paper, and now this is the conductivity meter. So you can just play around with the intro page first and get acquainted with everything. There's different solutions. There's water, strong acid, weak acid, everything, and they're all different. So you can see what is the same between them, what's different. Something important to note is the equation, and each one has a different visual representation of, the acid, the base, or conjugate acid, conjugate base, sorry, conjugate acid, right here, conjugate base. So each one of them is different colors, so you can actually look at it in a molecules view, the one that was up here, or you can look at it as a graph, and that is what is up right now. Now on some of these it will say negligible, so that's up to you to interpret. I don't want to spoil that, but main idea is with the intro page, you can just play around. You can do whatever you need to learn how to use the tools. Now, on the page I just clicked, which is right here, it's my solutions. This is where you can actually adjust concentration manually. So you can make it weaker, stronger. You can switch from weak to strong. You can switch from acid to base. So it kind of gives you a little bit more control in terms of concentration. And you can still use all those same tools that we were just looking at, and it still has that general equation that tells you, exactly what you're looking at, whether strong acid, strong base, and what colors. So the questions that you'll be answering in the data, quote unquote data that you'll be collecting, it's more observations that you're collecting, will be based off of the simulation. So, don't get stressed out about collecting actual numbers and stuff. It's more about observations and kind of understanding acids and bases from these representations. So overall procedure, we are opening up this link. So you'll click it. This is on your lab handout. I know I have it on here, but it's on your lab handout. You open up that link, you'll explore the simulation. while discussing these following questions, and then you'll use these different views. So those different views that I was basically clicking on. Sorry, I can't talk today apparently. The molecular view is the one with the little molecules. The bar graphs was the bar view of that same thing. And then the pH meter, conductivity meter, all those different tools. Okay, so there's two different parts for our data collection part. There's observations, and there is a part, so that's part A. And then there's part B, where we're interpreting depictions and graphs and diagrams. So in part A, you will be, using the simulation, and basically it's kind of up to you how you want to first either go through it and take some notes, or if you want to just take it question by question, answer each question as you go along, use the simulation to the best that'll help you, to the best of your ability that'll help you, question by question. So it's kind of up to you in terms of how you want to do that. Obviously I do guide you, like for an acid, what happens to the molecule when it is in a water solution. So, you could just, in general, whether it's a weak acid or a strong acid, it's a general trend of what will happen, and so on. So you can just go on and look at whatever view you need to, or look at whatever solution you need to. And then part B, I have all these images right here, right, that have, basically this is a key from the simulation. So these are things that we see in the simulation for strong acids. And then you are basically going to interpret all of this, and basically we're just having a discussion. That's how you should think of it as. So this lab is a little bit like a guided notes type lesson. Like I said, I think it's useful for just understanding acids and bases in general. So you'll answer those, discuss those in complete sentences. And then finally, you will apply your knowledge. You will answer some questions. On some of these, you will have to discuss a little bit. So for example, on number 2, you're going to, choose an answer. It's a multiple choice question, but then you have to explain your reasoning. So just explain your reasoning like in 1 to 2 sentences, the same way that you do, for exams and stuff like that. If you can explain something in 1 to 2 sentences, like one specific topic, right? Not an entire textbook, but one specific topic like this, then in regards to a specific question, then that means you really understand it. So that's why I really like assessing in that format. So you'll answer these 2 questions, and that's pretty much the end of this lab. So like I said, shorter one. It's a nice, quick, sweet lab. Coming back from spring break, I know isn't the easiest. So just let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be here to answer them. You can email me.